Okay, welcome everyone to this framing webinar. The name of webinar is Metalite Gauge Steel Framed Walls in Revit. So my name is Valensas Balsevicius. I'm a structural engineer and application engineer in AGACAD. I will host this presentation. So a few words about our company. We create solutions for continuous development of BIM for all the industry. So we create a lot of add-ons, and we are developers of wide range of solutions. We sell worldwide, and we give support and training to all of our users. And so we keep these promises to reduce BIM stress for our clients. This is the range of our solutions we have. You can find them on our webpage. There are different solutions for MEP engineering, for parameters management, for framing, for precast, and some small tools and so on. So you will find them and read them if you would like to. And today I will show three solutions. I will mainly show metal framing, just to frame the walls. Then I have smart walls to split walls, and sort mark to automatically number walls. So we'll see how to create panels, how to frame panels or walls, just modify, update, create multiple floors, create sheetings automatically, sort elements, and how to create drawings. Okay, if you will have questions during webinar, you can just type them, and I will try to answer them at the end. So now we can switch actually to Revit and start a live demo. How does our solution work? So now you should see my Revit screen. And here I have sample project. And on the right side, you see tools for BIM docs. So this is our solution. You can download it as this kind of plugin for Revit, and then you can install any of our solutions. Then you will insert Wall Plus, so it will appear at the ribbon, and you can just drag it from ribbon and use all the commands from here. So I will use this solution to frame walls, to create sheetings, to create drawings and assemblies. But first of all, I would like to talk a little bit about the walls. So in this project, you see I have walls created, just regular Revit walls. So what I would like to do is to split these walls into smaller elements. So for this, I will use Smart Wall Solution, and I will show just a couple of commands from this solution. So we have such a split wall menu. We have split settings. Over here, we have some settings, how to split around openings, how to what should be the size of the panel, what should be the maximum size of the panel. So we define these settings, and then we can use that to split our walls. Let's say I will select a couple of walls and split by maximum spacing, so it will just measure the length of the wall and apply the settings. So let's say now I have two equal sizes of the walls. Then, okay, another, let's say, option, select walls, split them in half. So you can select from which side you want to split, maybe from both directions and so on. Another, let's say, way to split is to have grid lines in the desired position, in the exact position where do you want to split them. And then you can go to 3D view and select by split by grids. And in such case, I just need to select the walls which I want to split. So I will do that now by selecting these walls and these couple of more walls. And now I hit Escape key, and it will split my selected walls by selected grid lines. So we will have just more of these panels. So after we do the split, the ends of the walls are disallowed joint. So that's another feature of smart walls. Okay, maybe these three walls I will do the same, but this time I will just split by all grids because I have just 2 grids here, so I just want to create a couple of additional panels. So it's all good. You can go around and split as many as you want. If you are prefabricating panels in the size that you want, or if you are building on site, just leave walls as it is, and it's not a problem to work with that also. Okay, so let's take a look now. Wall plus solution, right? So as you see, maybe over here, this building was framed with our solutions, the roof, the floors, and the walls. Today we'll talk about walls only, and we use structural framing category elements, and they have a lot of parameters, right? So to use them, you need to load families, first of all, to your project. So you have these families in your project, and then you can start using it. So the framing is performed based on configurations. So configurations are described in this window. In this window, we will see that we have configuration types, 2 of the types. So one is for the main frame, and secondary frame is for additional layers of framing. So you can have as many framing layers as you want. So okay, what do we have in configuration window? You see here a lot of settings for different situations. So common settings, these are just settings for studs and tracks, right? Common settings. Then we have parameters, names, the sorting, prefixes, and so on. Then small tweaks or important tweaks, just based on the office, on the country. You can add different kind of things in this area. Then I will just switch to wall framing, and here you have settings for the just more descriptive settings for the studs, right? You have spacing, free spacing, you have type, you can rotate that, these studs, and so on. The same goes for the top plate, section of element, number of elements, maybe some element above, bottom plate, similar settings, just you can cut additionally the bottom plate. Then you can have top and bottom offsets, right? So you can enter value and extend, let's say, frame in your desired direction. So opening framing, what do we have here? We have window framing, door framing, general openings, joint window and door framings. So you can define how to frame around the openings. So you see a king stud, let's say, how many of these do I want to have? What should be the profile used? What should be used for the header? So you can choose from the predefined types of header. You select the type, you select the sections, or you can go, select the custom header, then go to this tab, and then define your own header, and it will be used above the window. So the same goes for the top plate support from predefined ones, or just a custom support type. Sill plate, so this one element, you see the pictures are dynamic, it's very intuitive, so you will easily understand that, how to set up and how to do that. Now trimmers, elements, yeah, just around the openings, you can see that clearly. All the settings will apply, and you can just simply understand what does it mean. So it could be also assembly elements, it could be also build in place elements. You can have here a lot of options. At the top above the window, what kind of elements should be inserted? Trimmers, cripple elements, so this just should be straight bars, or maybe this should be diagonal bars above the opening. So we can set it up. Offsets around the openings could be included. In the header, recently we developed just a few weeks ago that elements could have could be diagonal, so you can have diagonal header. So I'll show you the real examples, how does it work. And then you save this configuration in just the name, and you can apply different configuration names for different size of the openings and different kinds of openings, right? So you can apply that in different situations automatically. It will recognize the size of opening and apply desired configuration. Next steps are for the connections between walls. So again, it will recognize different connections between the walls. If it's internal connection, if it's external connection, you can apply what profiles should be placed there, or maybe you want to make again your own custom just layout of your studs in the corners. So you can do that for the ends, for the V connection, for the T connection. Again, select desired option or create your own and save it to the database so you can use that later. A ridge stud is just an element at the ridge if you have such a wall, like in this picture. Over here we have settings for the bridging nogging elements. So it means these horizontal elements in between top and bottom plates, something in between here. So again, select the type, how to rotate that, how to place that. Should it be short maybe elements just between stud, or maybe it should go through everything and cut the studs. Again, different kind of settings here. Array type, how many of these elements should be inserted, with what distance should be inserted from the top, from the bottom. Maybe they should be placed only through the openings and so on. So you can place these elements in many different ways. You have a lot of tabs here to place them. When secondary stud system, they are very similar to the studs, vertical studs, but if you need additional row of studs, right? But additionally, they could be splitted, so they could go just between the bridging elements. So you can have short elements. So again, depends on the system in which you use. Bracing elements. So this could be like a strap, one single element inserted between two horizontal elements. So you select the type of it, or the brace group. So it will be just diagonal elements between two selected studs. And then again, it could be diagonal elements. You can add additional horizontal elements. You can define different rules how they should be placed. There are other options, just really flexible to place that. You can automatically rotate stud, you know, if you have C profiles, so you need to rotate one to place inside your elements. So you can also do that automatically. Additional stud. So additional stud or bridging, they could be inserted after you do the framing. The additional elements could be entered, and these settings will apply. In the details, you see just informational window that for existing users that previously settings for the details was inside here, but now they are located at this add elements menu. So you'll find them there, and I will show you later what we have inside. Instead, holes. So these are serviceability holes. You can again define the distance, where they should be located, and so on, how many of them should be located. So you prepare your configurations, save them under different names, and then you need to select your wall and assign what do you want to do with the wall. So let's say, for example, my wall, it has 5 different layers, and for this wall, I want to frame this layer. I want to use this configuration, and I want to frame it. I want to exclude parts because the wall will be split into parts. And then when I split wall into parts, for this layer, I want to use sheeting, and I want to apply this sheeting configuration because we have here also sheeting configuration. So I will show that later on. And I don't want to hide, I don't want to exclude parts. So I make this kind of settings for my wall, and then I'm ready to go. I can select a walls which I want to frame, and I can just go ahead and click frame wall command. So what it will do, it will read the configuration from the wall link, and it will use that configuration on this wall. So it will read the opening size, apply everything as it is defined in the selected configuration. So you will see that now I have different sizes of windows. So I have different headers. For this one, it's just a simple one. Over here, I have diagonal header. And over here I have T connection. I can show you maybe in the floor plan that I have T-connection and I have specific layout of my studs. So let me go back to 3D view. And so as I mentioned that you can have different kind of openings in your walls. So let's say I have curtain walls here. This is straight rectangular wall opening. This is face-based family. For example, if you have MEP elements inside your model or linked MEP elements, you can use our cut opening solution, find intersection between MEP openings and place automatically opening families based on configurations, and then metal framing solution, it will find these openings, it will find these face-based families, and it will frame around them based on your settings. So let's say the cut opening, it has, I'll show you maybe, it has a lot of different settings how to place these openings, and it will automatically place them in the intersection of MEP objects and other objects, and then you can frame it. So that's really cool that it can recognize all the different kind of openings, and you can also use it in many different ways. Another thing, let's say I want to show you is that, let's say I will change the size of the opening, right? I will change the size of the opening. So what I will do now, I will go to modify and update opening by wall length. So it will read the configuration, and it will say, okay, this is big opening, so I need to use some kind of other configuration, and it will update the wall. So now I have different kind of header, right? It's not a header, it's actually a parrot type of truss just above. So, but we can choose by multiple options here. Okay, I said that bracings can automatically, let's say, rotate these elements, right? So if I will do it like this, I will add brace group between two of selected studs. And now you will see that, okay, this one was rotated and these are placed inside with predefined configuration. Okay, so that looks very nice. Now add, let's say, bracing on the external side. So that will be just different kind of bracing, right? I will select the stud near the plate and then another stud near another plate. And then I will have this element inserted. So again, just did 2 clicks and I have my elements in the desired position. Then I was talking also about that we may have multiple layers of framing, right? So over here, I have this layer with secondary frame and secondary frame configuration. So what I can do, I can actually add secondary frame. It's different configuration, so you will see the result. You see, now I have only horizontal elements and some framing around the opening. So that's just additional layer to the previous one, and I can have them as many as I want. Okay, so that's a couple of options how to frame that. But let's go ahead and see some other types of framing elements, because now I have used U profiles for the plates and C profiles for the studs. Now let's use C profiles for the studs and for the plates. So I'll just select a couple of elements, and then let me show you the wall link. This time this is, this is internal wall, and it has this configuration selected and couple of sheetings from both sides. So I will select the walls and click on frame, so it will read the name of configuration, and you don't need to go to wall link every time if it's already linked, so it will read that information and you'll have your results. So let's wait and we'll see a little bit different layout of elements. So 4 of the wall frames are framed. So I don't know, you probably tried that to do just in regular Revit. So it's a pain. Okay, so let's see. Now some horizontal elements I used instead of the traps. This time I used just the tracks. And what I would like to show you else, we have details, right? Which I mentioned in the configurations. So now details, they have their own configuration. So how to place the details. So let's say face-based family, this family comes with the software, but you can edit, you can modify. This is really just a simple face-based family. And then you define where to place it, just the offset from the stud, the defined distance. I don't want to place it on the top and bottom place. I want to place it on the headers somewhere and so on. So I define how to place that on the bridgings, how to place holes, how to place details on studs and so on. And then I will add details, let's say, to this selected frame. Then I select the detail configuration and add details. Actually, details could be inserted together with frames, but we don't want to have a lot of elements in the beginning of a project, right? Just for the performance of the element. So maybe it's just better to insert them later on. So I just placed a couple of details over here and over here. And again, all of the commands, they have possibility to modify, to update details and so on. So let me click on modify, click on any of the framing elements, and it will bring me back to this window. So I will select to insert this hole, insert it, insert between two studs, and insert at the bottom plates, and insert at the bridgings and headers and so on. And let's click on OK. So I will update only this particular wall. So I can make changes just to meet the specific situations, right? So I can add details, but I can also modify the frame itself. So I can modify the frame. I can do any of the changes here. Let's say service holes. I want to have them two at the top, at the bottom, and maybe another one at the top. So I will enter some values here, click on OK, and it will make changes to my framing. So now you see it's really nice now that this frame is updated. So another thing, let's say I can show you, okay, with the same walls. Let's say we have this connection, but again, we can go here and modify wall joint, select this element, then select the other type maybe which you want to use, click on OK, and the framing was updated, and then this selected corner will have selected layout of your elements. Okay, maybe one more time I will go to this place and just to show you a couple of things over here. So let's say you can select element, and there are many other options how to meet your project requirements. You can select element, move it, flip it, I don't know, add additional elements. Okay, let me show you just when I move element, right? So it will just move, update also these elements. Now I will add, let's say, additional stud. So again, I select the element, the rule how to add it, just define it like this. Let's say I need a couple of elements, just direction, and then I have it like this. Now I should maybe update the frame, because now my bridgings, they are not updated, because this is just additional elements, so they should now check if they have additional elements, and the bridgings are also just changed, right? And what else I want to show you, that multi-framing. Multi-framing, you see a lot of commands here, right? But I want to show you just one of them. Copy, update frames in identical walls. Okay, so I'll do that, and I select only one framing element. Now it will check if we have identical walls in the model, and it will copy all the framing elements to these walls. So it means it will copy also the additional element, all the local modifications, right? So now if we'll go back to 3D view, you will see that, okay, so I had 6 walls, the same walls, so all the elements are copy it. So maybe I can do that the same over here, let's say. So the great thing is that it will copy all the all these additional modifications. Also, you can copy these additional layers of framing to all of the walls. So now you see it's really quick and powerful tool. It could work with groups if you model the groups of the rooms and so on. So it's really nice. Now I will just close it down. It's possible to analyze this later, but I just want to get you the impression of the possibilities. Now I'll go back again to this one, and I'll select a couple of walls here. Okay, so maybe, come on. Okay, so I'll rotate my view a little bit, select walls, maybe like this. Okay, so I don't want to select unframed walls, so I'll remove that. And what I want to do now is I want to split these walls into the sheetings. So I can have my sheetings. And let me show you what is the result. So in this view, you can see the sheetings was created just like this, right? It goes around my openings and so on. Let's say, okay, so I managed to select that somehow. Okay, so you have the sheetings, and now how did we get that sheetings? There are sheetings configurations. So we have the sizes of the sheetings. We have options how they should be created: inner layer, outer layer, how to start, where to start it, what should be extensions, what should be the mark, how it should go around the openings, how it should act in the corners. Let's say the first layer of the sheeting, the second layer of the sheeting, how it should split, maybe some extensions should be applied. So you have these configurations, and as previously we already talked about, is in the wall link, you assign to the selected layer the sheeting configuration, and then you use that. Okay, so and now this we'll talk about the last stage, about the shop drawings. So how to create drawings for these elements we just created. The shop drawings, they have configurations. Again, how to create the shop drawings. So over here we select view, what type of view we want to create. Maybe a legend, maybe a 3D view, maybe a flipped version of standard Revit views. Then we give it a new name. I should select something. Then we give it a new name, select what layer should be showed, then dimensioned, then view templates which should be applied, then dimension rule which should be applied. And dimension rules, they are described here, and you can define how to dimension, let's say, structural framing elements, how to dimension, maybe we don't want to dimension any horizontal elements. Maybe in this area we can select, okay, assembly front, right? We can select different configurations, save them, drag these elements one above the other to define the sequence of numbering. Let's say over here I selected that vertical elements should have horizontal line. It should have this kind of dimensions type, and it should be placed at the bottom of the wall. So the same applies for different kind of elements you see here. You can find a lot of different elements. So if you will have them, they will be dimensioned based on these dimension rule configurations. Then you have different tagging options, insert gravity point, additional possibility to control visibilities, reverse element view, rotate element view, then create model view also and give it a certain name. Then schedules could be created also, any type of schedule, and then schedule template could be applied, and then we can also filter what should be included. Then sheets, we can also have sheet templates, and the views will be placed based on these sheet templates. before I will create any of assemblies, I need to renumber these elements, because now mark value is empty, and when I create frame assembly, I need mark value, because the name of type of assembly will be based on mark value. So for that, I will use other solution. I will use sort mark. So just one command from it. I will select element numbering, and I will use category walls. So I'll renumber this time all walls, but you can do that just for the selected elements. So I will write information to the mark parameter, click on OK, and this kind of window is for the placement of information to parameters. So you can save this configuration again in different names and share it with your colleagues, the same as for the wall framing solution. So grouping, here you can define how to group your elements, how to filter. Maybe you want to filter just a certain type of elements by selected any kind of type or instance parameters. When numbering, so this is important, let's say, because let's say I will add length, volume, and then let's say, I don't know, where do I have height of a wall, maybe, right? Unconnected height. Okay, found it. So based on these three parameters, my walls will be renumbered, right? So, okay, maybe I will even add this one. So if any of these parameters is different, so the number will be different. Sort, okay, how to sort them? So sort by type name. Let's say, first of all, we'll sort one of the types or others. You can sort by position of element, by level name or level elevation, right? So all of the elements, they could be sorted in different way. Then at the end, I need to define what should be added to this mark parameter. So this is calculated value based on these settings. And then additionally, you can add any information, let's say comments, if you want to, you can add to the mark parameter, right? So it could be used in a wider area, but now let's just do it like this. Let's just add prefix starting number and click on OK. And 100 elements was renumbered. So some of them will have same mark values because some parameters was the same. So now let's say all of my walls, they have now mark values. So we can go ahead and now I'll go to this view maybe. And what I would like to do now is to show you one more thing before I start creating assemblies, is that we have possibility to define template project. And this template project is, it looks like this. My template project looks like this. I have assembly created with the same configuration. And here I just placed views on the sheet like this. So I have 3 sheets, and I defined in my shop drawing configuration that I want these sheets to be used as a sheet template. So it means in the new project, when I will create new assembly, the views will be placed in the same order. So let's do that. Let's create frame assembly. Click on this element, select the configuration, and click on OK to create assembly. So what it will do, it will add all the framing elements to assembly. You can add also window families, door families into assembly automatically. It will create the gravity point. If you have some additional face-based elements placed on the wall, you can also include them if you want to automatically. So it will gather everything, all the details and framing elements into one assembly. Then it will create views, apply view templates, place dimensions, and place these views to the sheet. So it will read information in the template project, how the views should be placed. And you see now I have this red dot, so this is gravity point. Let's go here to the bottom of the project browser and let's take a look now. This is one sheet, right, of assembly. Then we have another sheet with framing elements. So, okay, I have question marks, and the reason for that is because my framing elements, they are not renumbered, but we have inside command for that. So we can sort structural framing elements, let's say by ID, by mark, and so on. So usually for CNC machines, we use sorting by ID, because all this information, it could be exported to CNC machines directly if you are a manufacturer. So it's really another step into the efficiency. So, okay, now we have all the numbers. So it's again based on the settings, how it should be numbered. So I have all the schedules and the sheeting views, right? So I have created all of my views which I wanted to have in my project. So I just guided you through all the process, what we can use, how we can use. So just at least most of the commands I showed you. There is more, and it's coming all the time, more and more of them. So what else would I like to show you is that you can get free trial of any of solutions, right? You can have it for 2 weeks. You just need to download this tool, then install it, selected version, then you will have these tools and you can just get the trial, fill the form, you will get the activation code and you will just activate that. Okay, guys, so I think we are done today, but it was really nice to have you here and you are so active. It's really interesting to talk to you, but contact me or us and we can talk about it. We can make separate demo. We can talk about specific things you need, okay? So we are developers, so we all the time we make developments. Let's say the last week the update came out of the Wall Plus and so on and so on. So it's we are looking forward to meet you and talk more about it. So have a good day and bye-bye.
AGACAD, building BIM together.